Manila 有还蛮多种公共交通，可是最热闹的是应该上计程车。Manila actually has quite a few options for public transportation, the most popular being taxis.
In the interest of honesty, I should confess that prior to going to Manila, I did do a lot of research, especially about safety. So maybe I was just well informed, or maybe I'm just that lucky, but I did actually have a very pleasant stay in Manila. And then again, I did go there on a quest to look for positive experiences to film and share online. That being said, I did read a lot about other people's experiences, and sometimes it wasn't all that pleasant. Taking taxis in Manila, for example, seemed to be one of the biggest obstacles for people going there. So I'm going to share a combination of my personal experience as well as everything that I've gathered and read online, and put that into 10 tips or 10 things that I think you should know before taking a taxi in Manila, starting with the car itself at number 10. Taxi drivers do not usually own the car that they're driving. The driver rents the taxi from an owner of a carpool. The driver has to pay between 1,200 to 2,400 pesos for 24 hours use of this taxi. He also has to pay his own fuel, so that's why you often see taxi drivers getting only about 100 pesos or so when they get fuel, just enough to get them through the next short little trip or next 10 kilometers or so. Taxi drivers can make up to 3,600 pesos within 24 hours, but that means that they have to drive about 16 hours straight with small little naps. Realistically, taxi drivers make around 1,500 pesos a day only. That brings me straight into number 9, which is tipping your taxi driver. If you are pleased with your taxi driver, the cleanliness of the car, and so on, encourage this by giving him a tip at the end of your ride. I usually just gave 50 to 100 pesos, but you can also give 20% tip on whatever your fare was that day. Another tip about the car itself is you have to pay the same fee whether the car is new or old, the taxi, whether it's new or old. So, for the purpose of safety and comfort, try to get a newer car when you hail a taxi. Number 7, probably the most important thing and the thing that comes up most is never get into a taxi unless the driver has already switched the taxi meter on. In other words, before you get in the car, open the door, ask him to turn the meter on, and then get in. If you're already in the car and he hasn't turned the meter on, there could be a lot of negotiation because he might try and convince you to pay a set rate as opposed to the taxi meter rate, which does become very frustrating and may result in you eventually having to get out of the car, which in turn has all kinds of safety implications. So, make sure the meter is on before you get in the car. Number 6, lock the doors when you get in the car. Yes, you may think this is common sense, but let me tell you, if you live in a safe country like Taiwan, where I live, forgetting to lock the car door when you get in is something that you very easily do because it's just not something common in Taiwan. So, just keep in mind, once you're in the car, lock the door. Number 5 is a good one. This one is take a picture of the taxi ID and send it to a friend. The taxi ID is always written on the side of the passenger door in a white marker or on the side of the car itself. Don't be shy to let the driver see you doing this, taking a picture of the ID. Number 4, always try to have your destination address either printed out or written out on a piece of paper so that there is no confusion about where you want to go. Most of the drivers in Manila speak English, but many of the places, the names might sound similar. So it's always better to have it written out or printed out. Number 3, make sure that you have small money bills. Many of the drivers will not accept big bills, or they might not have change for big bills. Number 2, if you have luggage in the back of the taxi, and you are alone, leave the passenger door open when you get out of the car, get your luggage, and then pay your taxi fare. I read a very few isolated reports of taxi drivers driving off with your luggage still in the car. So make sure that the door is open, get your luggage, and then pay the fee. And finally, which I think is probably the most important thing, stay calm. It is an absolute waste of your energy to get upset or angry. Save yourself a lot of stress by planning to leave earlier than you think you need to, because chances are you are going to get stuck in Manila traffic, and that is going to be a real test of your patience. And in leaving earlier, you're also going to give yourself a bit of negotiating buffer time in case the first, the second, or possibly even the third taxi that you hail refuses to turn the meter on. And in that case, arguing and getting upset is completely pointless. Just walk away, get another taxi that does turn the meter on.
Manila 有很多种公共交通站吧。